Pongal, or the Harvest Festival, is celebrated with great gusto, especially in South India. It is a Thanksgiving celebration following the harvest of paddy or rice. The 4-day festival pays obeisance to the sun for its energy in growing food, to the cattle used for ploughing the field, and to the divine for securing a healthy harvest. Today, Thigam prepares Pulisado, a popular sour rice dish that's served during this time.
Good day and vanakkam. Welcome to Sadhana Cooking with Thigam. Today we're going to be making something called Pulisado, and for those of you that do know it, it is a real treat to have at Pongal. Today we're doing Pulisado, which is the total opposite. It's a rice which has a very sour, hot, pungent flavor to it. Garlic, ghee, mustard seeds, jeera seeds, onions, rice, salt, tamarind pulp, turmeric powder, curry leaves, dhania, dried chilies, water. The first thing we do to start off that is to heat our heavy based pot. Once we know our pot is nice and hot, we're going to add some ghee. And you can see it's nice and hot, the ghee is starting to melt. Then I'm just going to swirl this around so that the ghee goes throughout the pot. Right, my ghee is hot. I'm now going to add my curry leaves to this. And then I'm going to add mustard seeds. You need a teaspoon of mustard seeds. There are many women that don't actually measure when they cook Pulisado. They just put a handful of this or a pinch of that. But I know a lot of people who have not made it before want to know measurements. So we're going to put a teaspoon of jeera. And then to add the heat, we're using some dried chilies. These may look very innocent, but they're actually quite hot. And the best way to get the heat out of dried chilies is to break them up. So we're breaking them up, putting them into our ghee, and that's going to spread the heat through. Now, at this point, I'm going to add the onion. And now we're going to give it a stir. I want my onions to get nice and soft and golden brown. While that is happening, I am going to get the puli ready. For those of you that don't know what puli is, its English word is tamarind, and it is actually a fruit or a seed of a fruit which becomes overripe, and once it's ripe, you get this black paste that forms. This now is going to be added to some water. I'm going to mush it around in the water, and then I'm going to take out just the thick paste that comes out of it. I'm going to add the garlic to my mixture. The reason you don't put the garlic in too early is that the garlic can burn and add a bitter taste to your dish. As much as we want the pulisado to be a little bit sour and hot at the same time, we don't want it to be bitter. I'm going to add my turmeric now. The reason I add the turmeric now and not later with the rice is because I want, once you put the turmeric in with the onions and everything else, when you add the rice, the yellow will spread throughout the dish. I'm putting about half a teaspoon of turmeric into this. We're now going to give it a good stir. There we go, we've got our paste. And I'm now going to add this in and lower the heat at the same time. You'll notice it's quite brown, but once you add the rice, and we will see later on if we need more turmeric powder, then the color will change. I'm now going to add my rice. We left a little bit of the water in the rice when we drained it because we want that extra moisture to go into our pulisado. You'll notice that I haven't added the salt in as yet. That's because we have salted the rice. I will have to taste a little bit first to see how much more salt I want in. And I'm now going to give this a good mix. We want all the tamarind or the puli, we want the turmeric powder, the ghee, the garlic, everything has to blend in properly. I can see that I'm going to need a little more turmeric powder. This is quite a quick dish. You don't have to leave it for too long. However, once you do add more water to this, you are going to have to let it simmer for a while. So before you do that, the best thing to do is to give it a good mix, then add the water and then let it simmer, and you'll see the color will change as well. And there we go. I've sort of mixed it all in now. We are going to then leave it to simmer, and then we'll come back to it in a few minutes. Right, let's see if our pulisado is ready. The color is looking lovely now. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm just going to taste for salt because when we boiled the rice earlier on, we did put some salt in. I'm just going to taste a little bit now to see if I need to add more salt. Be careful when you're tasting, it is very hot. Very hot, so be careful. It's lovely, sourish, hot, but it needs a little bit more salt. And then I'm going to garnish with a little bit of dhania. We don't want to overpower the pulisado, but we want some of the dhania in. Because the coriander complements the sourness of the pulisado very well, and I'm just ensuring that all the water has been absorbed by the rice, and it has. I can now switch my stove off. Remember, if you're making this and you find that the rice is not soft enough, just add a little bit more water, lower the heat, let it simmer so that all the rice can cook, which is why it's good to cook the rice 3/4 of the way. Some people like to just cook it halfway. Remember, it's not going to be like pulisado where the rice is overcooked. We don't want that. We still want to see the grains, which we can do right here. And for this, we use any long grain rice. You can use basmati, you can use long white rice, you can use brown rice. It doesn't really matter as long as it's long rice grains that are not going to get over soft.
And on that tasty note, it's time to say goodbye. We trust that we have brought union to your body, mind and spirit with today's installment of Sadhana. One of the 10 principles enunciated by Swami Dayanand Saraswati is that one should promote knowledge and dispel ignorance. Do keep up your sadhana. Om Shanti.